Hi everybody, welcome to this new episode for the Gen AI Nerd channel. And in this video, I will show you how we can leverage the new ChatGPT Voice that has been drastically improved to really start creating a personal email responder assistant. So I will show you how you need to install the necessary plugins, how we can build a skill that will be able to respond in our tone of voice for emails. And finally, I will show you how we can enable the voice mode to kind of start giving instructions on how to answer emails. So let's get started. So for a long time, we have received the promise that with generative AI, ChatGPT, we would be able to kind of create our own personal assistant. I think until now, we have been often quite disappointed about what is really possible. But I think now the newest introduction of the new voice mode in ChatGPT actually starts moving really in that direction. And so I want to give you an example today on how we can use the voice mode to really start having quite customized personal assistants. And in particular, I will show you step by step how to build a personal email responder. And so the first thing we will need to do is to enable some plugins in ChatGPT. So I'm now in the ChatGPT desktop application, but you could also do this in the ChatGPT browser. But so what we need to do is to go to plugins. And then here you can see an overview of the plugins. So then you can look for plugins. So now we can go Outlook, and then you will see here Outlook email, and then you can simply click on install, and then the plugin will be installed. So that's what you need to do to start working with the Outlook email plugin in ChatGPT. So now that we have installed the plugin, the next thing I want to do is to build a skill so that ChatGPT can write emails in my tone of voice. And how can we do that? So to start creating a skill, we go again to plugins. Then here we go to skills, and then we can click here on the plus sign, and then we can actually create a skill. So now it has enabled this skill creator, and now I just need to describe which skill I want to build. So here is kind of the example that I used to build an email responder skill. So now I ask it to read some recent emails that I have sent out to create my email voice skill. And this skill should be able to replicate my tone of voice. I will also add this prompt to the description. And so if I now press enter, ChatGPT will start creating for me the skill. Now I have done this before, so I can already show you the output. So if I now go to my plugins and I go to my skills, you will see that I have my Dries email voice. So this is kind of a skill, a description of how I tend to write emails. And this is now a skill that I can enable in my ChatGPT environment every time that I need to respond to an email. And let me show you now what you can do with the voice mode to respond to emails. And to do so, I have prepared here a fake email. So this is not a real email, but let's imagine that I have a student called Martin Brackman who has concerns about group dynamics for a particular course and is writing me to get some advice. And this is, of course, quite a sensitive email. So it's always good to get here some support from ChatGPT to really think about how can I adequately answer this email. So let me show you now how we can use the voice mode to help me. So now I'm back into my ChatGPT desktop application. And so now also here we have the voice mode. And the good thing is that nowadays it can leverage your plugins and your skills. And that's what I want to show you, actually demonstrating how it can act as your assistant in responding to emails. So let me launch the voice mode. Hi, can you help me in retrieving the email talking about concerns with a group work in my Outlook email inbox?
Sure, I'll look for that now. Found the email. The subject is concern about group dynamics in the business model development task. Received July 27th. It's about a student raising concerns over team dynamics in the entrepreneurship course.
Can you formulate in my tone of voice a response emphasizing that I would suggest to him that he reaches out to his group members to have an open conversation about what is going on. If that conversation does not help to solve the results, he should get back to me and we should have a meeting to discuss the potential next steps.
Okay, I'll draft that in your voice. I'm grounding the reply in the student's message and your established email style. Dear Martin, Thanks for reaching out. This sounds like a difficult situation, so it's good that you're flagging it early. My suggestion would be to first reach out to your group members and have an open conversation about what's going on. Try to discuss the concerns openly and see whether you can agree on a constructive way forward. If that conversation doesn't help resolve the situation, please get back to me. In that case, we can schedule a meeting to discuss the potential next steps. Best regards, Trace.
Can you also check my calendar and check when I would potentially be available on Wednesdays to schedule the meeting? I would suggest to him 2 specific slots of half an hour. And if you identify these slots, just add them in the email conversation.
Right. I'll check your calendar and look for 2 half-hour slots on a Wednesday.
Yes, and so as you can see, it then went into my calendar, identified 2 slots in my agenda on Wednesday, and added these suggestions to the email. So I hope this shows how you can now leverage this voice mode together with a plugin and a skill to really develop your own email responder assistant. And I hope this can help you to start automating yourself some important workflows that you have to execute in your day-to-day life. So if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for your attention. Bye.